My mom texted me, "Skip my birthday this year, we need a break from your kid." I didn't fight it, I didn't call, I just took the next exit and turned the car around. Maisie was 3 months old, asleep in her car seat behind me. We were already halfway to my parents' place in Portland. I had driven 4 hours from Seattle with a newborn because, in my mind, family still mattered. At least I thought it did. I'm Jenna. I'm 27, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the one who shows up, pays up, and fixes things. When my brother Kyle said he needed money for a startup that never even launched, I sent him $3,000 without making a big deal out of it. When my sister Bryn was planning her wedding and ran short, I covered the flowers and the photographer. Last year, when my parents said their roof was leaking, I quietly transferred $5,000 into their account. I never kept score, I just thought that's what you do for family. But apparently bringing my own baby to a birthday dinner was too much. I pulled into a rest stop because my hands were shaking so badly I didn't trust myself to keep driving. Maisie made a soft little sound in her sleep, completely unaware that her grandparents had just decided they needed a break from her. She hardly cried. She was the easiest baby you could imagine, and somehow she was still too much for them. I sat there in that parking lot watching trucks pass, trying to understand how a grandmother could tell her daughter not to bring her own granddaughter to her birthday. And the truth is, it didn't come out of nowhere. There had been small signs before that I tried to ignore, so I went home. 2 weeks later was Thanksgiving. Instead of begging for an invite, I spent it at a private lodge with friends who actually wanted us there. They even flew us out. It was calm, warm, and for the first time since Maisie was born, I didn't feel like I was apologizing for her existence. Then my phone lit up. My mom's message said, "Why didn't you tell us you were going there?" I just stared at the screen. After everything, that was her first reaction. When Maisie was born, my mom stayed for 2 days and then left. She said the stress was too much for her. My dad didn't hold the baby at all. He said he'd wait until she was more interactive. My sister Bryn was always posting pictures with her friends' babies, smiling and posing, but she never posted a single photo with Maisie. Kyle met his niece once for maybe 15 minutes, then said he had somewhere else to be and left. Every time I tried to bring Maisie over, there was a reason it wouldn't work. Mom was too tired. Dad already had plans, Bryn was busy with work, Kyle didn't even answer my texts. But when Bryn's friend had a baby shower, my whole family showed up with expensive gifts and took what felt like 100 photos. Seeing that made the difference impossible to ignore. I looked back at my mom's message again. "We need a break from your kid," not the baby, not "we're overwhelmed." Your kid, like she was a problem I had created. Like being a single mom made us something they had to put up with instead of family. You know what I did? I didn't argue, I didn't call crying, I didn't send a long message about how much it hurt. I just wrote back, "Understood, hope you have a nice birthday." Then I drove the 4 hours back home. The ride was quiet except for Maisie's little coos and my own thoughts going in circles. I kept thinking about all the times I had put them first, every birthday check I mailed, every time I rearranged my schedule to help them. All the money, the time, the effort just to be the good daughter. That night my best friend Vanessa called. "Are you okay?" she asked, and that's when I finally cried. I told her everything, how I had always been the reliable one, the one who showed up, and how none of it seemed to matter now that I had Maisie. "They're treating you like you're less than because you're a single mom," she said quietly. "You know that, right?" She was right. Ever since Maisie's father, Derek, decided he didn't want to be a parent and disappeared before she was even born, my family had been different, colder. Like I had done something wrong instead of bringing a beautiful little person into the world. My mom even said once, "Well, you chose this situation, like keeping my daughter was a mistake I should be paying for." That night something in me shifted. I looked at Maisie asleep in her bassinet, her tiny hands curled into little fists, and I made a decision. I was done. Done trying to prove myself. I was done paying for their lives while they treated mine like it didn't matter. Done chasing their attention. Done apologizing for being a single mom. My mom's birthday came and went, and for the first time ever I didn't show up. No gift, no card, no phone call, nothing. What surprised me most was that my phone stayed quiet too. No one asked where I was, no one checked if I was okay. That silence told me more than any argument could have. It was scary, but at the same time it felt like I could finally breathe. That day I took Maisie to the park, just the two of us. I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. I had no idea things were about to shift even more when Thanksgiving came around 2 weeks later. That was when it really hit them that I wasn't the same Jenna anymore. While they were busy ignoring me, I had started building a life they knew nothing about, one that didn't depend on their approval. Thanksgiving was coming up, and for the first time as an adult, I wasn't planning to spend it with my family. I kept waiting for the guilt trip texts, but they never came. No one asked about my plans. Then something unexpected happened. Vanessa called me on a Tuesday, a week before Thanksgiving. "Okay, don't freak out," she said, which usually means you should. "Remember my friend Lauren? The one with the luxury wellness company?" I did. Lauren was seriously wealthy. She built this big organic skincare brand and was always inviting Vanessa to some retreat or another. So, Vanessa continued, "Two couples just canceled on her private Thanksgiving lodge in Montana. It's right on a lake, totally secluded, private chef and everything. She wants us to come, both of us. You and Maisie too, she'll fly us out completely free. She said she'd rather have friends there than let it go to waste." I actually laughed. "Vanessa, I can't just—" "Yes, you can," she cut me off. "When was the last time someone did something for you? And before you say you can't afford it, you don't have to. Lauren is covering the flights, the lodge, all of it." I just sat there staring at the wall, a private lodge in Montana, a chef, a lake. It sounded like a scene from a movie, not something that could happen to me. "Lauren actually wants kids there too," Vanessa said. "She told me specifically that babies are welcome. She's bringing her own toddler." That word stuck with me. Welcome, not "we need a break from your kid," not tolerated, actually welcome. I heard myself say, "Okay, let's do it." We flew out the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and from the moment we landed in Bozeman, everything felt a little unreal. Lauren had sent a car to pick us up, this black SUV with heated seats and cold bottles of water waiting inside. The lodge was even more beautiful than the pictures. A huge log cabin with floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over a frozen lake, pine trees covered in snow, smoke coming out of a stone chimney, warm light glowing from every window. There were 6 adults total, me and Maisie, Vanessa, Lauren and her husband Marcus with their 2-year-old son Cameron, and Lauren's business partner Simone with her girlfriend Bate. Everyone was relaxed and kind in a way that didn't feel forced. When we walked in, Lauren asked right away if she could hold Maisie, not because she felt like she had to, but because she genuinely wanted to. "Oh my goodness, she's precious," she said, and Maisie gave her this huge gummy smile. These were basically strangers, and they showed more interest in my daughter in 1 hour than my own family had in 3 months. Thanksgiving Day felt almost unreal. Their chef Rosa made this incredible meal: herb-roasted turkey, truffle mashed potatoes, maple-glazed Brussels sprouts, homemade cranberry sauce. We sat at this long wooden table with candles everywhere, and everyone went around sharing what they were grateful for. When it was my turn at the table, I looked down at Maisie in my arms and said, "I'm grateful for friends who became family when I needed it most." Vanessa reached over and squeezed my hand under the table. I saw Lauren quietly wipe her eyes. "To chosen family," Lauren said, raising her glass, and everyone repeated it. The next few days were calm in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. We went on short hikes while I carried Maisie in a baby carrier. At night we sat in the hot tub under the stars. No tension, no judgment, no feeling like I had to apologize for my life. It was the first time since Maisie was born that I felt like myself again. On our last morning, the sunrise over the lake was beautiful. I took one photo, just one. The lodge, the lake reflecting pink light, mountains in the background. I didn't tag anyone, I just posted it with the word grateful and a heart. I didn't think much about it. I barely use social media anymore, but somehow Bryn saw it. She must have figured out where I was. 2 days after Thanksgiving, when I was back home in Seattle, my phone started blowing up. First my mom, "Why didn't you tell us you were going to Montana? We thought you were spending Thanksgiving alone." Then Bryn, "Wow. Must be nice to afford luxury vacations while some of us are struggling." Then Kyle, "So you're too good for family now. Is that it?" And finally my dad, "Your mother is very upset you didn't tell us your plans. We would have liked to know where you were for the holiday." I just stared at the messages. They hadn't invited me, they hadn't asked what I was doing. 2 weeks earlier, they told me not to bring my baby to a birthday dinner, and now they were mad. It was almost funny. Almost. Then my mom sent another text that made my stomach turn. I saw that fancy lodge online. Those places cost thousands per night. If you have that kind of money to spend, I hope you remember your family. Your father and I could really use help with the property taxes this year. There was no, I'm glad you had a nice time, no apology, just straight to asking for money. I sat on my couch holding my phone and felt something I'd never fully allowed myself to feel toward them before: simple, clear anger. They assumed I had paid for that trip. They saw one picture of me being treated kindly, and instead of being happy for me, they got resentful. And right after that came the request for money. Then Bryn sent another message: must be nice not having a mortgage or real bills. That one hurt because it was so far from the truth. I had a mortgage, I had student loans. I had all the costs that come with a newborn, and I was handling it alone. They didn't know any of that because they had never asked. I took a deep breath and looked over at Maisie on her playmat, kicking her little legs, completely content. Then I started typing. What I wrote was different from anything I had ever said to them before. It was the first time I stood up for myself and for my daughter without softening it. I wrote, I didn't pay for the trip. A friend invited me because she actually wanted Maisie and me there, but here's what I find interesting. You told me to skip Mom's birthday because you needed a break from my kid. You didn't invite us to Thanksgiving, you didn't ask what our plans were, you didn't check if we were okay. But the moment you saw one photo of me being treated well, you were upset I didn't tell you and immediately asked for money. Let me be clear, I'm done being your ATM. I'm done trying to earn a place in this family. Maisie and I deserve better than this. I sent it to the family group chat so all of them saw it at once. Then I muted the conversation and put my phone face down on the coffee table. My hands were shaking, but I felt lighter at the same time, nervous, but lighter. Notifications kept lighting up the screen. I didn't look. Instead, I spent the afternoon with Maisie, playing on the floor, giving her a bath, singing the silly songs that always made her smile. For once, I wasn't going to let their messages take over my day. That evening, Vanessa called. So, she said, I heard you finally told your family how you feel. Vanessa laughed and said, Lauren called you a badass. How does Lauren even know? I asked. Because your sister tried to message her, Vanessa said. She asked how much the trip cost and whether you were actually invited or if you somehow pushed your way in. Lauren took a screenshot and sent it to me, then she blocked Bryn. I actually laughed. You're kidding. Nope, your sister is a lot, but I'm proud of you, Jen. You finally stood up for yourself. After we hung up, I looked at my phone, 43 messages in the family chat. I took a breath and started scrolling. My mom, how dare you speak to us like that after everything we've done for you? Bryn, you're being dramatic. We were just surprised you didn't mention your trip. Don't be so sensitive. Kyle, this is ridiculous. You're acting like we're terrible when we've always been there for you. My dad, Jenna, your mother is crying. I think you owe her an apology. For a moment, I almost replied. I could feel that old habit creeping in, the need to explain, to smooth things over, to say sorry even when I wasn't wrong. Then I looked at Maisie asleep in her bassinet, completely calm, completely safe, and I realized I didn't owe them anything, so I didn't respond. Days passed, then a week, then 2. I stayed quiet, and eventually their messages slowed down too. Christmas was coming, and for the first time I made plans that didn't include them. Vanessa invited Maisie and me to spend it with her family in California, and I said yes. About 3 weeks after I sent that message, something changed. My dad called, actually called, not texted. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I answered. Jenna, he said, his voice quieter than usual, can we talk, just you and me? Listening, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He sighed. Your mom and I have been doing a lot of thinking. I talked to your Uncle Frank, you remember, he's been a therapist for 30 years. I told him everything that happened and he didn't sugarcoat it. He said we've been treating you badly, especially since Maisie was born. I didn't say anything, I was too surprised. I've been going over it in my head, my dad continued. He's right. We told you not to come to your mom's birthday, we didn't invite you for Thanksgiving, we haven't shown up for you the way we should have. And when we saw you happy somewhere else, our first reaction was anger and asking for money." He paused. "That's not okay. That's not how family is supposed to act." My throat tightened. "No, it's not. I also found out about the money you've given us over the years," he said. "Kyle told me about the $3,000 for his business. Bryn mentioned the wedding costs. I saw the transfer for the roof. Jenna, you've been supporting us while raising a baby on your own, and we've been ungrateful. Worse than that." His voice cracked a little. "I want to meet my granddaughter, really meet her, not just stop by for 5 minutes. I want to be her grandfather, and I want to try to fix this if you'll let me." I wiped my cheeks. "Dad, I can't go back to how things were. I can't keep trying to earn love. I can't keep proving myself." "I know," he said quickly. "We're not asking you to. We're the ones who need to change. Your mom, it's taking her longer, but she's starting to listen. And Kyle and Bryn, they're young and they've been selfish, but they're beginning to see it too." Over the next few weeks, things slowly started to feel different. My dad called every few days just to check in. He asked about Maisie, what new sounds she was making, how she was sleeping, if I needed anything. Not money, just support. One random Tuesday, my mom sent a text. "I saw a video of a baby laughing today and it made me think of Maisie. I'm sorry I haven't been there for her or for you." It wasn't a big, emotional apology. It wasn't everything, but it was something. Bryn took longer. She didn't say sorry right away, but the passive-aggressive posts stopped. Then one day, a small package showed up in my mailbox, a baby outfit with a note that said, "For Maisie. I'm sorry I've been a terrible aunt." Kyle was the last one to come around, but eventually even he did.